Hey, Luke, can you bring down some of those lights for my Facebook Live?
Yeah.
Thank you, bub. No, too much light. Bring them down. Bring them down. There you go. Yeah, thank you, sir. All right, with this West 2 Facebook Live update, thank you, Mark. He's handing me some pizza. Ooh, I like that. We've got a lot to talk about. We've got our Debby now lifting up towards the north. We're going to continue to watch that and monitor the trends down south because these storms, their behavior down south, a lot of times dictates what is going to be happening here. And so that's one of the things that we are going to want to watch, again, very carefully overnight tonight, just to make sure everything is behaving itself. Tina Wedding, Jason Beard, Carla said, good to have you folks in here tonight. Appreciate you popping in and joining me tonight for the update on developing Tropical Storm Debby. One of the other things that we're going to be talking about are all of these impacts outside of the storm. I want to make that very clear. Yes, the cone is shrinking, and yes, many of us are outside that cone, but it doesn't mean you're outside of the impacts. And that's the point we want to drive home here tonight with everybody. Vinny, even down by you on the eastern side of the peninsula, you'll have some wind and some rain, not as rough as though up north and west of you there. Pam Aller, Judy, Ernie, Jimmy White, got to cut in at 9, so I'm going to be rocking and rolling and moving this thing along fairly quickly for you fine young folks. Let's take a look now at the close-up path and stats. And if you guys would do me a solid, if you don't mind sharing the feed tonight to your loved ones, your friends, especially if they're up on the West Coast or up in northern Florida, that would be fantastic. I do appreciate you doing that. Just trying to get everybody in the weather know with what could be coming their way. Alexandra Zuninga, good to have you there. Appreciate you all popping in. So there's a look down. There's the cone. So 2 a.m. Sunday, winds are up to 45. 2 p.m. Sunday, 50, 55-ish. And then by Monday at 2 a.m., we are talking about plenty of wind and rain here. Things are going to start picking up from late morning tomorrow on into the evening hours and very early on Monday as well. The good news with the cones, not the cone, but the spaghetti pots within the cone, they're all in there, and they're all been very much locked in down just to the Big Bend or just east of the Big Bend. So we definitely like to see that. I'll get some of those county by counties in here for you in a second, Jeff. Thanks for asking. Erica Wynn, Carla Say, the whole gang is in here tonight. A lot of you wondering about the intensity forecast. Let me go ahead and crank that up here for you guys. You can see many of the models, Tropical Storm. You got one or two of them at hurricane status there, right through landfall on Monday. Barbara Ross, Teresa Spain, Melissa Mariosto, Tracy Richardson. Do appreciate you guys popping in and saying hi. So back to the cone and the extent of these advisories outside of the cone. This is a pretty significant point here, and just to kind of drive the point home. So the cone is going to continue to shrink until the storm makes landfall. But that doesn't mean that, here in Central Florida, just because you're not in the cone, you're safe. It doesn't work like that. The wind field is actually growing and expanding on the eastern side, and I'll show that to you here in a second, but it just kind of shows you right there. Look at that. Tropical storm watches for Lake on into Polk County, and then just to the west of Lake, we have tropical storm warning. Marion County doesn't have anything just yet, but we suspect that will likely change here with the next update from the Hurricane Center later on tonight. So let me do a few things. Let me give you some current data now, some current satellite and radar imagery, and then we'll kind of break the things down here for you. That little yellow box that you see here, let me kind of put a little arrow to it right there. That is the extent there of the tropical storm force winds at this hour. That little goldish area that I've kind of put up there for you on the eastern side of this storm. Remember, the front right quadrant is where you tend to get some active weather, some severe weather, some strong wind, and yes, even some flooding. And for me, in Central Florida, if I'm worried about flooding, I think it's going to be Sumter and Marion, maybe up towards Flagler County as the storm system begins to turn back towards the northeast as we get into Monday afternoon and night. Now, one of the things we are going to be watching is with this storm, it's going to be going over some very, very warm water right through this corridor, right in here, You can see we have 85 to almost 90-degree water. Dominique and Debbie and Elizabeth. So when you put a storm over very warm water like that, and there's very little shear, you got to watch that very, very carefully. So a couple ways to do that is what I like to use is the enhanced satellite imagery. Why use enhanced satellite imagery? What is enhanced satellite imagery? Well, the enhanced cloud tops there, the colder cloud tops will actually look hotter on the enhanced satellite colors there. These are actually colder up top. See these bursts of bright red and almost black? Those are colder cloud tops. That means the thunderstorms are really, really tall. This is the center of the storm. So what we have to now begin to do is watch these bands. As these bands lift up to the north, are they going to have enough torque to rotate and spin and create any severe weather? And that's what we're going to have to watch. The good news is, so far tonight, with a 40-mile-an-hour tropical storm that's getting stronger, we've only had 2 severe thunderstorm warnings. So that's some good news. The concern, though, is that if this does get stronger, you got more wind, you got more torque, and as these bands come from the Atlantic or the Gulf onto the shore, it's like putting on the brakes. You create that natural torquing motion there. So that's where you got to be careful. So that's one of the things that has me a little concerned here as we get you on into Sunday. Now, some bands of rain beginning to come up from the south. There's actually a special weather statement here along Yeehaw Junction. Again, a lot of heavy rain there. And that's the other thing with these pockets of moisture coming up tonight. As we get deeper into night and during the day tomorrow, every time they start passing your neighborhood, every time they start coming your way, you're going to notice heavier rain with them, gustier squalls as they come on through. And then, like I mentioned, we're going to have to watch any risk for training and training of the cells of the same area can create a flood issue. And that's why we have flood watches now for our western communities over Interstate 75. Not quite in the Marion County, but Marion County's had a lot of rain. So we're going to have to watch that for our friends, especially west of I-4. Now, a couple more points I need to make here. The flood risk extends well outside of that cone. And again, I'm driving this point home. The cone naturally shrinks where the center of that storm is projected to make landfall. That does not mean, however, that the effects or the impacts from the storm well east of it, well west of it, go away just because you're in the cone. It's just not how that happens. So there's a flood risk, and it's possible to likely now from Sumter, Marion, and points north and west as we go through Sunday and Monday. The other thing is that we have a severe weather risk, and look at that risk. It's well outside of that cone as well through Monday. And so that's one of the things that we're going to be watching and monitoring. As you've heard us say a million times, it's usually the front right quadrant, and that's true around the core of it, but sometimes with those outer bands that extend well out, and I'm going to go back to this live radar here because this is very, very important here. Give it a second to come on up. With these bands here, you gotta watch that. Sometimes you can get these little spin up EF0s or EF1 tornadoes. So far, it's behaving good, so we do like to see that, and then we're thankful of that thus far this evening. So the updated impacts here go like this. Flooding is high. Tropical storm winds are a high concern. Tornado threat, surf, storm surge along the west coast and whatnot is high. Eastern side of the peninsula, though, it's low. Remember, we're going to get an offshore flow at that point, so that is not going to be as much an issue. Now, I do want to show you one of our in-house models. So it's our FutureCast model, and it seems to be doing a pretty good job. I'm going to skirt on over to that here for you because I want to run this for you guys. It's loading now, so just give me a second. You want to watch this. You want to see this for sure. So there's the center. Here we are, 8:15. It's doing a good job. In fact, if anything, the convection around the center might be depicted as too weak. But there are the bands now. There's midnight coming into Polk County. All right, look at 3:35 o'clock in the morning. There's another band coming up, I-95. As we get you into mid-morning on Sunday, another big band along the west coast, Fort Myers, over towards Tampa. There's that big band right there. We'll have to watch that. The center of the storm just to the southwest of Tampa at 1 o'clock tomorrow. That very large band lifting north right through the metro area. I would say from about 2 through about 4, there's a big band on the outer fringes there of the storm coming through the Four Corners, the attractions, downtown Orlando, up towards Leesburg, Yalaha, on up towards the villages, and getting a little bit stronger there as it marches through northern Brevard, on into Marion, and then up towards northern Volusia and even Flagler County. Then there's another band. We get a little bit of a lull there as we get into the evening, and then here comes the main entree, so to speak. There's your storm coming ashore right there, going nice and slow so everybody can see this. There's the western side of the peninsula. There's the very heavy rain. Could be some embedded, isolated tornadoes in there as this thing is getting stronger. And then there's another band on the far eastern side coming right up the I-4 corridor. So there's a lot to watch in this particular run here, and that's the concern. Look at that eye. 4 a.m., not even on shore yet. There it is, 5 a.m., 6 a.m. Monday. Coming ashore just west of Marion County. Plenty of rain there in our northern communities. And sometimes you really have to watch. You see this big long tail feeder band that extends from Orlando to Tampa, well out to the eastern Gulf of Mexico. A lot of times the moisture can linger. The main severe threat is gone by then, but you can still get into a situation where you're getting significant rainfall in those bands. There's Monday evening. Another band setting up on the bottom side now of Debby as it moves up to the north and the east. And it's just kind of sitting over the north side of Jacksonville up towards Savannah, and that's on into Tuesday evening. So that is a concerning a point for a lot of us here that we've been noticing. Let me show you the graph winds with this particular run, by the way. And we'll do this. I'm going to go back to 8 o'clock on Sunday. Not too bad. Now we start getting into the late morning afternoon, starting to get some of that energy coming up from the south. Notice the winds here. 3:30 on Sunday. If you've got some lanai plastic furniture outside, it's going to start blowing around. Look at that. There's Sunday evening. The core there is still off towards the west. Now the winds are going to really start picking up Sunday night on into Monday on its closest approach. Talking about 32-mile-an-hour wind gusts Monday at midnight. Look at the Leesburg on to Ocala, starting to pick up 45, 52, 3:30 in the morning on Monday when you're sleeping. There's the eye coming ashore just west of Marion County. Look, 55, 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts potentially there if this model's right. And look at Palm Coast. You're going to get some of those bands coming on there. That's a pretty good punch of wind across a very large portion of central and north Florida. And then it kind of lifts up to the north and the east. And we're still dealing with, during Monday afternoon, some gusty winds. Just below tropical storm status, but still hovering right around that Monday evening up in Palm Coast. And then on Monday night and Tuesday, you can see that wind core just kind of hovering just north of central Florida. So, it's going to be slowing down, Chrissy, as it's going just to our north and our west. So that's, again, one of the things that we're going to be watching very carefully for a lot of our northern communities and our viewers. Now, I want to talk rain. Now, so here's a look at the what we call our QPF, quantitative forecast precipitation there. And you can see the main swath is right along that landfall area, 510 plus, could even be 8 to 12 plus from Savannah up towards Charleston. Notice how the rainfall amounts do taper down as you go towards southeast Florida, Brevard County, maybe 3 to 5, Orlando north there, towards Volusia County, 4 to 6, northwestern Marion County, up towards Jacksonville, potentially 5, 6, 7, maybe even 8 or 9 inches of rain. So, Tina, over in Titusville, I think you guys are looking at about 3 to 5 inches of rain over your way. And because of all of this rain, the one thing we really have to monitor is going to be the flood threat here the next couple of days. It's definitely growing during the day on Sunday and lingering as we get you on into Monday. Now, The rainfall comparison graphic between the Euro and the GFS looks like this, by the way. You can see the Euro has 5 to 8 inches, very close to Daytona Beach, Ocala, almost all of Marion County for that matter, and a good chunk of Flagler County. The GFS is a little bit lower. It's got the track a little bit more towards the north of us, but that's still a lot of rain, still a significant amount of rain. 3 to 6 inches of rain across a good chunk there of central Florida. I do want to show you, let me see something here. Give me a second. I thought I had this in here. I don't, but I'm going to grab it now. Give me 1 second. All right, let's see here. Graph. Let's see here. Graph. I need graph rainfall. Here we go. Let's load this one. I'm curious to see now what the graph model. I'm going to load this in here. Let's do this. All right, so this is the graph model showing rainfall amounts, and give this a second just to load in. So this is what the graph is doing. So you can see the bands coming up from the south, but then notice the heaviest of the rain. The graph has a definitive cutoff there. You can see north and west of I-4, there's a lot of rain in the forecast. South and east of I-4, you're looking at 3 to 5 inches. North and west of I-4, if the graph is right, you can have upwards of 10 inches of rain in a few locations. So that's a scenario that, again, I would not rule out. I still think it's valid. I still think it's got legs. I don't think that we should discard this particular forecast. That has a lot of rain through Tuesday in our northwestern communities. All right, what do you think about Jacksonville? I think Jacksonville is going to get hit pretty good. I think Jacksonville is going to have tropical storm force winds. I think they're going to have some flooding concerns up there, and they may even likely have some severe weather issues as well. So a lot going on because they're closer to the storm. That's a great question. Betsy Clark, you're welcome. Melbourne isn't too bad. Listen, Melbourne is in better shape. They're still going to have some issues down there. And remember now, this isn't a locked-in forecast just yet. We like that the consistency of the models is starting to show up, but until the storm is actually past us or west or just due west of us, we really have to monitor every track that comes in from time to time. Monty, I think Orlando's going to be dealing with some gusty winds and some squalls for sure. The rainfall amounts right there, as you can see, 3 to 6, 4 to 7 in western Orange County. Will this system go out to sea? Well, Shane, it depends on which model you're looking at. Some go out to sea, some stay over land, beachside Daytona Beach. From a wind standpoint, up towards Daytona Beach, I think you'll have some tropical storm force wind gusts. I don't anticipate hurricane force winds, although we do need to watch the storm as it's over the eastern Gulf there, to kind of make sure that it doesn't blow up on us. Claremont's going to get a lot of rain, some wind, some gusty thunderstorms, and we'll have to see if any of them begin to rotate or anything like that. What do you think about the drive from Avalon Park to Sanford early Monday morning? Anna, I think it's going to be a little bit bumpy. I think it's going to be a little bit wet, a little bit windy, and there could even be the threat for some severe weather depending upon the forward motion. If it slows down, for sure. If it stays at the current projected forecast, there could be some risk. If it speeds up, then you might be in better shape. So you just have to keep watching it. Mickey J. Thompson, you'll show them how we roll in these storms, right? Kenny Gottlieb from New Orleans coming back tomorrow. Oh, Kenny, what time? What time's your flight back? I hope it's early. Cisco Villa, Southeast Orlando, Meadow Woods. 2 to 4, 3 to 5 inches of rain for you seems like a really good bet. Gerald, Billy, you're going to have a little bit more rain, a little more wind up your way. I think, I wouldn't be surprised if you gust 50 to 60, and I wouldn't be surprised if someone there, gets close to 10 inches of rain. Anna, I hate going over the lake. Oh, yeah, and stay away from that. Good point. Lisa Borelli, good to have you there, young lady. Always appreciate you coming in. I have family coming from Puerto Rico on Tuesday. Norris, I think by Tuesday they're going to be in better shape. Let me go back to the graph model here for you. Beachside first time living on the beach. Daniela, I hear you. The storm, we'll watch it there for you. It's It's on the opposite side of the coast, so you have that working in your favor. But you'll get into some wind and some bands there for sure, especially the first band coming through you right there. 3, 5 o'clock on Sunday, and then more bands coming through as we get you into Monday morning, and then on into the afternoon. So yeah, plenty to watch. I was wondering that too. Says Tammy, do you think he can turn east? Brandon, I still think it could, but I like the consistency that we're starting to get now from the models. So it's looking less and less likely. I'm not taking it off the table though. Driving home from 7 a.m. to 5. Ken's driving. Gotcha. And that might be an interesting drive there for you. Daniela, you're welcome. Melissa Nations has popped in, and hope you guys are sharing the feed tonight. We want as many people to know what's coming our way as humanly possible. Tony, we're driving to Atlanta on Saturday. Should this be? Wait. Today's Saturday. Did you drive already, or are you talking about this upcoming Saturday? If you're talking about a week from today, you're fine. Lourdes Galagos is in the house. Sumter County, Amber, I think you guys are going to have a bit more out west. So let's get a couple county by counties in here. Sorry about that. You got sidetracked reading your messages, and it's going by so fast. Jules, you're welcome. Miss Collins. Casey, you're welcome. Next Saturday, you're fine. Roxanna, don't worry about that. So Marion County, Sunday on in the Monday morning, maybe the afternoon, depending upon the forward speed. This one, I might bump up these gusts based upon what I'm seeing here. I might go 35, 45 on the wind. In fact, I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to go 35, 45. Here's what I'm going to do. Give me 1 second. This may look weird for a second. Let's do 35, 45, right? And then for the gust, we'll do 45, and I wouldn't mind even going 60. Rain, I'm going to go 4 to 8. Isolated 8 plus. All right, let's do that. Let's see that. There we go. Just made a quick little update, just looking at some new data coming in. So 35 to 40, max gust 45 to 60. Watching from South Alabama. Josh, it hasn't been doing that. I'm not ruling it out, but we've had a couple runs now of it really honing in just east of the Big Bend. We'll get some new model data here probably in about an hour, just FYI. Colby, Bradbury, Nassau County, up in Jacksonville, you guys are going to get hit pretty good up there with some good winds and some good rain. And yes, even there was some severe Palm Coast looking for winds and flooding. The winds, I think, for them up there, be 30 to 40 with some gusts 40 to 50. I think the rainfall is going to be in that 4 to 8. There's Marion County, Lulu. Let's go down to Lake here for a second. There's your Lake County. Worst of the weather Sunday, Monday. Could be Monday afternoon. 35, 45 looks reasonable. 40, 45, 55 there. Looks good. 4 to 6, possibly higher, like that. And then over towards Sumter County, this wind needs to be adjusted. This is going to be 35, 45. Let's see here. This is going to be 35, 45. And this is going to be 45, 55, and then rainfall here. I'm going to go 4 to 8, possibly higher. There we go. Make a quick little update on the fly here. There you go. Darren, it's slowing down just a little bit. So we got to watch these rainfall totals there. So that's a look at those three counts. I think I have a few more here. Give me a second. Let's do this. Give me 1 second. I'm trying to grab a few more of these county by counties for you guys, because I know that really. All right, here's what I'm going to have to do. This is going to look a little strange for a second, but this is what I'm going to do. So there's that, there's that. Let's get Orange County in here. Give me a second. It's loading it. So there's Orange County. Let's do this. Alright, so let's do this. Let's do this. Orange County, 3 to 6 looks good. Watching process of weather. Wind, let's do 25, 35. Hang on a second. I'm doing these on the fly here with you guys because I know you guys like them. 25, 35, and then we're going to do 35, 45. There we go. Let's do that. Boom. That's that. Let's load that in there. I'm going to put this in here. Let's put a couple more of these in here. Content library. Sorry about that start for a second, but I need to just kind of drag that in there. There we go. All right, so there's Orange County. So there you go. There's Orange County. To see good evening, Laura. Is it safe to drive on? Is it safe to drive on I-95? Tonight, yeah, I think you're in okay shape tonight. I think you'll run into some rain as you get to the south, but I'd rather you do it now than trying to do it tomorrow when the storm is coming up. Susan, yes, New Smyrna Beach, Volusia County. Let me see here. Hang on one second. So this is what one am I in? That is C. Hit. Give me that. Oh, there's Orange County. Let's do this, and then we're gonna do Orange County right there. There's Orange County. Yes, and then somebody wanted Volusia County. Hang on one second. There's Volusia. Give me a second. I'm loading one more for you guys. Flagler, and then somebody wanted Brevard. Let's get Brevard in there too. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that, guys. All right, so let's start with Flagler first, and then we'll get down to Daytona. I got you guys. Just hang tight here for a second. All right, so Debby, there it is. So 25, 35, max 35, 45. I would, 4 to 6, isolated 6+ looks pretty good. Watching the severe threat and the flood threat for sure. So that looks pretty reasonable there. Volusia County, let's do this. I would make that a little bit higher too. Let's do this. Let's do 25, 35, and then we'll do 40+ looks good there. I like that because there's going to be some decent squalls coming in on those outer bands. So there we go. 25, 35, gusts 40 to plus there for sure. So you got to be careful on those bridges over there. We want to be mindful of that. And then Brevard County, rainfall amounts are going to be a bit lower. I think if we do, let's do this. Isolate, let's do here. Isolate, let's do this like this. 4 plus, and then we'll do it like that. So yeah, 20 to 30, gusts 40 to plus. Any cell that comes in, races in off of the Atlantic, that could produce some high winds there too. Shante, you're welcome. Wind is sustained. Yeah, that is correct. Excellent point. Jennifer made a good point. So sustained winds is the wind. The gust there is on that bottom line. A friend of mine went to Somerville, South Carolina. To back tomorrow. Yeah, it might get a little bumpy for them there on the way back. Citra, that's again, that is it's in my other hit. I have that in here. Let me see. I got different counties and different hits. So let's do this. Let's do the B hit. So sorry, that's brown for a second there. Somebody wanted that. So here we go. Here's Marion County, including Citra. There you go. Citra, Ocala. 35, 45, gusts 45 to potentially 60. 48, there could be a pocket or two of 8+. Yeah, Ashley, you're welcome. Palm Coast, Vivian. Can you show the Euro and GFS in future? Okay, Hannah, yeah, sure can. I'll go back over that. All right, so here's the side by side. And then I'll go to the future cast. So side by side, you can see GFS is a little bit quicker. Goes into the Big Bend Monday morning. The Euro is a little bit weaker. Goes into the Big Bend a little bit later. The GFS charges on. The Euro is a little bit slower. GFS then kind of wobbles and bobbles off the Carolina coast there, as does the Euro. The Euro is trying to dry us out more definitively as we get you into the Wednesday. Now, when we go to the graph, as I opened up the show, you saw this. This is the graph. There's Fort Myers. Look at that band. That is 12:30, 1 o'clock Sunday. Big band coming in. Will it have the risk for an isolated tornado or two? That's one of the things that we're going to be watching. Christian, yeah, I think they will. I mean, there's your feeder band right there, Christian. So, I mean, you're a little bit further removed, but that doesn't mean you can't get a spin-up tornado with these outer bands and some gusty winds with it. But look at the majority where the heavy rain there was for Brevard County, north and west of you. Now, as the storm continues to lift northeast, there comes the tail of that moisture tongue that does come into Brevard County. So the northwestern counties will get it worse. Southeastern counties may fare a little bit better. But look at that band setting up behind Debby there Monday evening, still coming down across central Florida. And then still sticking around Jacksonville and Nassau County up there. So wind speeds in Brevard, Jane. Okay, so one more time. Polk, let's see here. Graph winds. Let's do the winds here one more time. There we go. So 25, these are the gusts. These are not sustained. Again, Sunday afternoon, things will pick up, especially with these squalls that come on through. And then it really picks up Sunday night on into Monday with the eye up there in the Panhandle. Look at those winds now. 47 Wildwood, 50 Wildwood, 59 in Ocala, 47, 50 up towards Palm Coast. So there you have it. There it is. Just like that. So there you go. That's my biggest concern. Well, Alicia, I hope I'm saying that right. Yeah, mine too. No doubt about that. Joseph says he's been through Irma. Yep, that was a big one. Daytona, again, Teresa, as you just saw there, winds are going to be, 35, 45, and could even be a gust over 50 as some of those heavier bands come on through your area. So again, a lot to watch, lots to monitor. The front itself, the storm itself, rather, does appear to be locking in on an area just east of the Big Bend. Here's a look at the tropical models. And the point that Marquise and I were driving home tonight was that even though the cone is well to the west, there's going to be a lot of impacts well east of where all of those models are going, including wind. I mean, there's your cone, right? There's your cone. But look how far east those tropical storm watches and tropical storm warnings are. Well east of that cone. And the same thing can be said for the flood risk and the severe threat. Here, look, cone versus flood risk. Flood risk is well south and east of the cone. And the severe weather risk, well south and east of the cone. So a lot to think about, a lot to watch. We'll be here every step of the way for you. We'll have these updates on our Facebook pages, our social pages, wesh.com. You name it, it'll be there for you guys to see. All right, I've got to make some updates, and I've got to eat some of this pizza that Marquise got me from the newsroom before it gets really cold. So I'm here to 2 a.m. For those of you that are up late, I may jump on after midnight and give another little quick update there once we get past the 11 o'clock update. And, so if you're up late, I think I'm going to jump on one more time right around 12:10, 12:15. Marquise has got to cut in at midnight, so, or I do, rather. He's got one at 1 and 2. So, anyway, let me jump off, make some updates. We'll be back on the air on the CW18 here at 10 and again at 11 on West 2 News. All right, guys, take care. See you.